Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode of Numerology Quick Takes, we're going to take a look at the forecast for the week of November 3rd, 2025. Happy November. I can't believe we're here already. This year has gone by so quickly. This, of course, is a general forecast. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box, and I'd love to work with you. This week is likely going to be a doozy, or at least it's going to be the initiation or the start of one. We have a lot going on here. Of course, we have the full moon that's happening on the 5th or the 6th, depending on where you live in the world. And I've offered you extensive information on the numerology of that full moon, including for your own life path numbers. So check those videos out if you haven't already. But on top of all of that, we're going to be working with the vibration of the 45-9 this week. And now remember, we are in a 9 universal cycle this year, the quote-unquote personal year. This year for the collective is the 9 energy. So, this is intense, and it can bring about some endings, some closure, some things falling away through some greater transformation, through some greater understanding that needs to fall away in order to, first of all, see what's still left standing, see what's still, working, what's available to us, but to be able to see what needed to fall away in order to recognize what was more sustainable, what was more aligned, so to speak. And so there's a huge emphasis this week. And again, I don't necessarily know that we'll see everything transpire this week. We likely will not. But there's it's a potent energy because, again, we're working with the same vibration of the universal year. So there's the things that happen this week, the things that come to your attention, the things that pique your interest or that you feel have run their course or reached their expiration date, are no longer for you, whatever. Pay attention because that's what's calling for you right now. It needs your attention to clean it up, to release it, to move forward. And it doesn't have to be super dramatic or, super life altering. It could be, but it doesn't need to be. It could be simply, not procrastinating anymore and tying up those loose ends, getting things completed so that you can get them off your plate, to make space and room for what's next, what's the next chapter, what's waiting in the wings, trying to come in for you, but can't because there's no room. And so you can be looking, of course, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you name it. But there's things that need to, again, likely fall away, and they don't have to be done dramatically. They can be done in love. But there's that closure that's likely needed so that the shifts can come in so that we can build, I don't want to say something better, but something that is aligned with where we stand on our path in this moment. And there's an emphasis here also on not putting too much of your energy on what has fallen away or what you're closing out, but to shift your focus again on what is left standing so that you can build from there. Because there are things, especially with this full moon and sort of the disruption that this full moon can bring in, there are likely going to be some things, certainly on the global stage, but even within our own lives, where something is removed. Maybe it was divine intervention. Maybe it was forcibly removed. Maybe it was unexpectedly removed. And there can be grief associated with that. There can be the strong emotions that come with that. There can be the deep feelings. And we're meant to honor that. We're meant to feel it, move through it, honor it, and transmute it into something good, something useful, something productive, not destructive, something constructive. And we're meant to spend the appropriate time, whatever that may be, to release it, to honor it, to let it go. Because, we hear that so much, like in the spiritual community, let it go. But that's so insensitive to the reality of, when you're moving through something that's very difficult, you can't just let it go. Come on. You have to move through it. You have to move through the experience. You've got to feel it to heal it, as they say. But you don't just let it go. That letting go is a process. And there's healing involved in that often as well, especially if something has been removed that, was dear to you or felt dear to you. There's a process in that letting go. And when we simply say to people, oh, just let it go, that is invalidating the other person's experience. So though there is this energy of letting go this week, in your time, right? In like the time that you need to process that release, and the time that you need to be able to shift gears, to transmute the energy, to feel it, right? And to move through it, whatever it may be. It's not as simple as just letting it go. There is an energy of surrender, but even surrender sometimes takes time to fully feel it and embody that surrendering, right? It doesn't just happen naturally, quickly. Well, it doesn't just naturally happen quickly. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, what would be the point of the experience, right? When we move through something difficult or challenging, or again, where we are being asked to release something that we thought was working, or that we were, I don't want to say clinging to, but maybe we were attached to or whatever, that's a process that has to take place in that release. And we need to honor that. I mean, these days we're so quick to say, we want that instant gratification. We want that instant hit of dopamine. We want that instant, like, not having to feel something. We just want to move to the next thing. But you have to go through that process. That's part of the healing. And if we don't go through that process of the full release or letting something go, we're not fully getting the wisdom from the experience to use moving forward. And I don't know, I'm a big believer that every experience that we have has an opportunity to not only teach us something about ourselves and others and the world around us, but it has gives us a beautiful opportunity to tap into greater wisdom and growth within our own personal experience. So if we don't go through the whole process, we miss the point. We miss it. And so I would say, silence the outside external noise. If that external noise is just telling you to simply let it go or release it or whatever, you'll get there, but you've got to do the work to get there. And this week is a beautiful reminder of that. But in that process, there's also this message of don't get stuck in that energy either. Like, don't get stuck in what you're, being focused on what you're releasing, being focused on what you're surrendering to or letting go of. Don't get stuck there for years and years and years upon years. Do the work as the opportunity presents for you to do the work. And don't lose sight of, again, what is still standing. What's standing beside you? Who and what is showing up in support? Or who and what wants to see you be successful? And who and what is your greatest cheerleader or makes you feel safe and secure and happy and joyful and all the things? Because as you're releasing whatever is needing to be released, we live in this world of polarities. So you can move through something challenging while also moving through something incredibly beautiful that's also supportive and uplifting and inspiring and all those things. Both can exist at the same time, and usually they do. So the energy this week is just saying, don't get so hyper-focused on what is changing, what is being released, what is transforming, because there's likely going to be a lot of transformation, especially again, like on the global stage, especially as we start to really close out this year. But in your personal life, don't get so hung up on that it starts to deteriorate the people, places, things that are for you, that are still here with you, that are still part of your chapter, that are still a part of your story, because they're important pieces to that story. So don't lose sight of them. And those pieces that are still standing are meant to be used as you build or create the next chapter. They're meant to be a part of the story. So you don't forget to write them in. So yeah, I just think this week has such strong potential, again, with this full moon. Please listen to the full moon information if you haven't, because this is a wild one. I do think there's a potential for a tremendous amount of transformation, but it's like that transformation that's so needed to move us to level up, basically, as a species, as a race, as a human race, to level up, because the way that we have been in motion maybe worked before, but it's not working anymore. And we can see that on a grand scale. It is not working. And so collectively, first individually, but then collectively, we have to come together to take the action to make the shifts that are necessary in order to create the space to build something better, to build something more progressive, more evolutionary, that will move us forward. And there will be pieces that will be left standing that we are meant to utilize and to build from, or to look to for the foundational pieces. But yeah, use this time really, really wisely, and let it, again, the things that need to be released, release them with love. That doesn't mean it won't be painful. That doesn't mean it won't be difficult. That doesn't mean whatever. But release them with love and grace and kindness. And that's so possible to do. And it might not happen right away for you, depending on how difficult that release is. But it will happen, especially if we're making a conscious effort to make it happen that way. It's when we fall into hate and vindictiveness and just judgment and all the heavier energy, that's what makes the release so difficult. That's what makes it stick, right? Where, meaning, like, we don't fully release it. It's just more like word of mouth, right? Like lip service. But yeah, when we truly release something with a full heart, we don't feel the heaviness. We might feel the emotions attached to it, of course. And we just move through those. We feel those. And that again helps us to tap into the wisdom. So this is an energy, this cycle, this week, that could have the potential to bring in old friends, old acquaintances, old partners, or previous partners, previous friends. And that engagement could lead to some kind of greater learning experience. There could be gains this week. There could also be inheritance during this cycle for some. That could definitely come through. And it's possible that whatever comes in this cycle this week might not meet your expectations, but don't get overly focused on what you see as a partial loss because it's not meeting your expectation. Try to see the potential of what this week will bring, because it's possible that this week could feel disruptive, could feel chaotic, could feel, again, like there's things falling away, there's things being, dismantled, or things are coming in, but they seem like they don't meet the expectation. And again, I would say don't get too caught up on that now. Pay attention to the potential of what could transpire from everything that comes in for you this week. So again, I would say manage your expectations. Don't dismiss something because it doesn't meet your expectation, because you likely will miss out on something very significant. You'll be focused on what you wanted as opposed to what the universe or your soul knows that you need right now. Use whatever comes your way, whatever opportunity or potential gain or inspiration or whatever, to initiate something new. That's the whole point of this week, really. It's kind of two-sided, right? The release, but then the initiation of something new. So try not to spend your energy on regretting past mistakes or, wishing things were different or wishing you would have done something different, because you can't change the past. You can only do what you can do in this moment, and all roads led to this moment. So learn from your experiences of the past, but choose to proceed forward. And there's the opportunity again for just sufficient gains coming in, where there's that realization that there's a better use of your own personal energy to bring in even more rewards the next time around, right? We learn from I don't want to say mistakes, but we learn from our experiences. That's what I mean when I say we have to move through it to learn from it, to gain the wisdom and to heal, right? Of course. But every step we take in this life is leading us to the next step. Every experience is leading us to the next experience. We get so caught up on clinging and attaching and ownership, but it's not about that. It's about literally the journey and the experiences along the way and getting the most out of them. And when the expiration date hits, releasing them, letting them go, and honoring what we feel in that process. Because at the end of the day, we're still human. We have emotions. Emotions are our magic. And so we just have to learn how to use that magic. I would say, be mindful of your expectations this week. And be adaptable. Go with the flow as much as possible. Don't try to cling too much. Don't try to control too much, because it's that controlling that leads to the disappointment. It's those high expectations that lead to the disappointment and the frustration, especially when we're not seeing things happen as quickly as we would like. So have grace for yourself, for others. Be gentle with yourself and others this week, and always. But this week is an interesting one. It's a lot of moving parts. So yeah, see what comes in for you this week and see what you can learn from it. So again, if someone from the past shows up this week, and then maybe it triggers something within you, take the time to journal about it, to figure out, okay, what about that experience? What did it teach me? What did I learn? How did it get me to where I'm at in this moment? And what can I do with it? Because then you become empowered over the situation as opposed to staying in victim mode. We can't, we're not victims of what we can't control. And we can control how we move through something. So we can decide what we do with the wisdom that we gain from the experience. And it's also possible this week that we can become very aware. I mean, there's a lot of aha moment type of energy circulating this week. A lot of awakening kind of energy, being shaken awake to the reality of something or to the clarity needed in order to move forward, to build better, whatever. So it's very, very possible that we'll become very aware of some of our own strengths, our own resources, our own gifts that we've actually really overlooked until now, because we've been too maybe hyper-focused on someone else or something else or the external or the chaos. And so that clarity coming in can teach us something so profound about ourselves. But then again, it's what we choose to do with that, because this is a very, we're meant to integrate this energy. We're meant to, what we learn, right? We're meant to integrate it. So things could definitely come up for review this week, but things could also come into light this week, especially when it comes to our greater gifts, our natural light, and how we share that. Very, very possible. And a lot of times we unlock that through our experiences. So this is a beautiful time to kind of review those past experiences and see what led you to where you are now. And that's all that really matters, is where you're at right now. The rest doesn't matter because it doesn't influence your experience anymore. What influences your experiences is the present moment. And then you decide what you're going to create from there. So yeah, be careful about overlooking. Be careful about being too focused on what's not working. Focus on what is working. Focus on where it benefits you to focus your energy, where it benefits you to invest your energy and your time, because that you are worthy of. You are worthy of that equal exchange of energy in situations and relationships, in everything. No one is holier than thou or better than you or any of those things. And when we move through a 9 cycle, similar to like a 7 cycle, we're able to see that, right? So I would ultimately say this week, again, be gentle with yourself, be kind, and with others as well, of course. But manage your expectations and work to see the gift, not only of the present moment, but the gifts that have been bestowed upon you through the experiences of the past. And then what do you want to do with all that? Because it's basically sitting at your feet saying, you've got all this wisdom, you've got all this magic. Now, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to create with it? It's all been a gift. And yeah, so yeah, a very, very powerful week. I mean, that's the word, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. But I hope it's a great week. Be good to yourself and good to others. And I'll talk to you later. Okay, take care. Bye for now.